We spoke about mekalkilin, ruining something. The Mishnah says whenever you ruin something on Shabbos, any malacha that's done by ruining is not a Isur Deiraisa, it's only a Isur Derabbanan. Comes Rabbi Yabo and he says there are two exceptions. He quotes a Braisa. The two exceptions are bruising, wounding someone, or burning something. Those two things, even if it's totally destructive, you're still chai. That's what he quoted from a Braisa. Says Rabbi Yechanan, you're wrong. This Braisa is wrong. It's an incorrect Braisa. There's no such a thing. The rule applies everywhere. The rule is that on Shabbos you only chai if it's something productive. The only way you could be chai for bruising, for wounding, or for burning something when you're not using the actual fire is if you want the blood, you want the ashes. That's the only way you're chai. Says the Gemara, 1 second. What did Rabbi Abba think? Or what does he think? Could be he didn't even change his mind after Rabbi Yechanan told him off. What is he thinking? The Mishnah clearly says that whenever you ruin something, you're potter. And it did not make any exceptions, so there aren't any exceptions. How did he think otherwise? Says the Gemara, you're right. From the Mishnah, it's pretty clear that there aren't any exceptions. Rabbi Abba still held that the Braisa is accurate because it's a machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Yehuda holds malacha she'eina tzricha legufa. Whenever you have a benefit which is not directly from the actual malacha, it's still considered a benefit. And Rabbi Shimon says no. Based on that, Rabbi Yehuda has a simple explanation how these two malachas can be beneficial. As Rabbi Yechanan said, that it could be useful with using the blood later, using the ashes, and therefore it's no exception. So any mekalkalin is spot. Rabbi Shimon says no. These two actions, if you're lighting a fire and it's not to use the actual fire, it cannot be productive. The fact that you're going to use the blood or the ashes afterwards, it doesn't help. It's not called tzricha legufa. You're not gaining from the actual act of the malacha. And therefore, since there's no way to say that it's beneficial, and we will see soon, we have some proof that you're chayiv for making a wound or for burning a fire, burning things. So therefore, we must say that it's an exception. We must say that you always chayiv. What is the proof? For making a wound, the proof is a bris. The Torah says, "Bayim hashmini yimel b'sar Allah." So it must be. It's an extra word, bayim hashmini, which means that it must be on that day, no matter when it falls out, even on Shabbos. But what's the issue with a bris? You're making a wound. You're making him bleed. That's not the point. The point is to make him a mole. To make him a mole is not a malacha. Since it's not a malacha, so why should I think you're not allowed to do a bris? It must be that making him bleed is considered a malacha, although there's no benefit from that. How do I know that burning something you're chayiv? Because it says, we learn from a pasuk, that you're not allowed to do Mrs. Beis Din on Shabbos, including sreifa, which means melting lead and pouring it down the person's throat. Now, if you melt lead, you're ruining it. And nevertheless, okay, if you melt lead, you're ruining it for some reason. I guess since you're not planning to form it in any other way, in any other form, you're just planning to pour, as you're going to do, you're going to just pour it down someone's throat. So there's no benefit for the lead. There was a nice piece of lead before, and now you're melting it, and you're not going to reshape it. So you're just ruining it. And nevertheless, the Torah says that it's also. From here we see that melting, burning, dissolving something through fire is something which is not allowed, no matter if there's no benefit. Says Rabbi Yehuda, no, there is a benefit. You're making a wound in the person, you're making him a bris. It's not directly the wound, who cares? It's called tzricha legufa, it's ain't a tzricha legufa, but who cares? Melting the lead, there's a benefit. You're doing the mitzvah. Whatever needs to be done. There's no benefit in the actual lead, who cares? Malacha she'eina tzricha legufa is still considered chayiv. Now, Rabbi Yechanan holds that even according to Rabbi Shimon, chayiv al-mavir can be in a beneficial way. In these examples that he brought, when he gives the blood to the animal, because the whole reason why making a wound is a malacha is because you're taking out blood. If you're using that blood, it's malacha tzricha legufa. The same thing, the whole problem with lighting a fire is that you're turning it into ash, you're burning the fuel, you're burning the wood, and therefore if you're going to use the ash, it's considered tzricha legufa. And therefore, it's not an exception. It's just like anything else. And therefore, you chayiv only in those cases. Then we mentioned that the bleaching wool or other malachis, the size is a double sit. So two amirim give two measurements, which is the same thing. Either you measure two sits, or you just measure one stretched out sit from the thumb to the index finger.